Hello everyone, my name is Xiaoming Chen. Welcome to Attorney Chen Broadcasting. In this section, we are going to talk about some of the key requirements to get a bond or the bond qualification. As I stated in the previous session, that when you facing criminal charges and if you want, the the state's attorney or U.S. attorney may require, pre-trial detention, ask the court not to release you, basically keep you prison until the trial date. But most of the time, the person being charged wants to get out of jail and then hire attorneys and then prepare for trial and wanted to request a bond. And at this time, you really needed to show to the court that you are not a flight risk. So basically, you need to, again, each state has its own criminal justice system, and United States federal government has its own criminal justice system. So you need to consult attorney in your state. But by just using the example of state of Virginia, you need to prove to the court that you are not a flight risk. So there are several things to consider. The first is how long have you been in that state? Have you been in the state of Virginia for more than 3 years? How long you have been in that state? And then second, whether you have family members in that state. And my experience is that your family member appeared in your bond hearing are very, very helpful. So if your spouse, your wife, or your husband, your children, your family member, your parents, your mother, father, your sister, brother, sisters appear in your bond hearing, that can be very, very helpful to convince the court that you are not a flight risk, and your family member can act as a guarantor for your bond. The third is that you have to prove to the court that you have properties or community ties in a state. So if you own a house, if you has lots of property in a state, have a bunch of real estate in a state, and you have a bank account, all that can be very, very helpful. So that's one thing. You probably needed to show to the court that you can show to the court that you have the deed, you own the house, or you have a long-term lease, so you are not a flight risk. And then sometimes they will consider that your criminal history, and also consider whether you are impose a threat to the general public. So if the crime you've been charged with are very violent, it's a very violent crimes, and there's a great possibility we'll do that again, then the court is going to be hesitate to give you a bond. But if just some non-violent nature crime, some embezzlement or some fraud, but not non-violent crime, that you are not impose a threat to the general public, then the court is probably more likely to give you a bond than you're being charged with, or you're facing severe violent crime criminal charges. So if you can prove to the court that you are not a flight risk, then there's more likely that you are going to get a bond. Thank you very much for watching the Attorney Chen Broadcasting. And in next episode, I'm going to talk about what happens if you violate the bond requirements or bond condition. Thank you.